Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Luscious Living podcast. And today we're chatting all about cellulite, but really from a traditional Chinese medicine and Western approach. Now, with the warmer weather coming up, we want to wear our most favorite sundresses and skirts and shorts. However, I also understand when it might be our own body that stops us from enjoying summer, enjoying the clothes that we want to wear. And I know the battle between it doesn't matter what people think and what I look like versus, well, a part of me does care and I do want to look good. And so I am always looking for the bridge between Eastern and Western medicine and what they have to say about our everyday situations and scenarios that most people face. And so I am always coming from a judgment-free, body-honoring, health-focused approach and conversation especially on today's topic of cellulite, and really diving into, again, East meets West. And this is always for educational purposes only. Please consult your doctor before making any changes. So let's get into what exactly cellulite is. We're going to be looking at root causes from a traditional medicine and Western approach. And we're going to look at, again, both Western and Eastern medicine strategies to support smoother skin where you can glow from the inside out. So, now also at the very end, I do have a PDF download for you that is going to be almost like a cheat sheet and provide a tea recipe and really summarize our conversation together today. So make sure you download that as well. So getting into what exactly is cellulite. So the Western view is that they are fat deposits that push through connective tissue, causing that dimpling skin, and it is influenced by hormones such as estrogen and poor circulation, genetics, inflammation, and collagen breakdown. From a traditional Chinese medicine approach, it is seen as a phlegm damp accumulation, and that's really coming from poor digestion, qi and blood stagnation, and again, translating that is a little bit more of poor circulation as well as poor iron absorption in the body, and sometimes kidney deficiency. And it's fascinating that these, the cellulites will show up in the areas governed by the spleen, liver, and kidney meridians as well. So the thighs, the butt, the hips. And again, in Western medicine, when we have a lot of fat storage in the hips and thighs, that is related to estrogen as well, and too much estrogen. I do have a number of episodes that go into how to reduce excess estrogen or estrogen dominance. And the big tip here is to focus on cooked cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, cabbage, turnip, cauliflower, and radishes are a really good one as well. So now let's look into the root causes. Why is this happening? I really don't ever believe that anything happens randomly in the body. We just have not been taught ever why it's happening. So getting into this, and whether you are, again, a practitioner listening to this, or you are just someone who is so curious, this episode is going to be focused on solutions. So I want to go into dive deep and then come back out. So first reason is there is a bit of something called spleen qi deficiency. So meaning that the digestion is sluggish, it's not strong. And so if you look in the mirror at your tongue, you might notice some scalped edges or tooth marks around the edges of your mouth. You might have brain fog, heaviness in the limbs. You might have bloating and loose stools as well. And so this leads to something called damp accumulation, leading to puffiness and soft tissue congestion, essentially. Then we have liver qi stagnation. This is super common in our world, something I navigate all the time. You might experience this with irregular periods. You might have breast tenderness. You might be sighing a lot, irritable, sometimes even angry. And this is going to have an effect on circulation, less smooth flow of blood and qi, then stagnation under the skin. Then we have kidney deficiency, and especially those of us who are over 30, or if you have a hormonal imbalance with it or chronic health conditions, there will be less collagen and more fluid or less improved fluid metabolism. And then if we take it further from that poor digestion, then there's something called phlegm damp, and it's really going to essentially the less beneficial version of poor digestion, where you just have a lot of sluggishness and then some mucus buildup as well, and that gets stored in the subcutaneous tissue. Then, from a root cause from a Western lens, is hormonal imbalances. As I mentioned, estrogen, it promotes fat storage in the hips and thighs. Then we have poor lymphatic flow, which is a whole episode of its own, but that's really fluid buildup, and then you get that swelling, dimpled look. Weak connective tissue, which is influenced by collagen loss, aging, inactivity, and of course, inflammation, which is going to drive tissue breakdown and increase water retention. So now that we've covered some possible root causes, this is going to be based off of your individual constitution. Let's get into some strategies to support smoother skin. So first and foremost, we want to strengthen digestion, and if there's any of that dampness, really start to resolve that. So we do that by having warm cooked meals, and I am so guilty of this part, but lots of cold salads and cold smoothies. They do worsen digestion, and being over reaching my mid 30s, I do notice that once I have something very, very cold, like for example, very cold iced coffee, very cold iced magnesium water, like super icy. I love it so when it's super icy. However, I will notice pain after, unfortunately, now. And so this can actually slow down digestion. And so in turn, we want to focus on foods like millet, ginger, pumpkin, bone broth, lentils, red dates, barley. So foods, even congee, soup, stews, these are going to be fantastic for your gut health. And then also, of course, pre and probiotics, which is a whole other conversation there. But especially in the summer, I'm just thinking now with summer coming up, of course, we're not going to be having soups necessarily. But if you are going to have a smoothie, have your blueberries or your fruits in general start to thaw just a little bit. Maybe you're not adding as much ice into it. And I have to figure out my iced coffee there. I might just add maybe 2 ice cubes instead of, honestly, I would do a whole ice cube tray sometimes. Right? I just liked it super, super icy there. Then we also want to look at liver-soothing foods, so beets, leafy greens, dandelion greens or tea, citrus fruits, green apples. These are all really, really good for liver health. Then we do, of course, want to decrease our sugar intake, too much dairy, especially in the summer, iced drinks, talking to myself here, and greasy foods as well, because they can all worsen our digestive system. Then, of course, we want to focus on a collagen and protein-rich diet, and I have 5 foods for you to focus on here. Number 1 is bone broth. However, if you have any allergic reactions to bone broth, because some people do, that's a whole other conversation, and please, again, do not have any foods like this, or even kombucha, red wine, anything smoked. But if you don't have any issues with that, bone broth, rich in gelatin, collagen, glycine, proline, and this is all going to help with connective tissue as well. So you can drink this warm in the morning or have it as a base for soups and stews. Then we have eggs, which contain proline and glycine, and they are the amino acid building blocks of collagen. And especially if you add vitamin C-rich foods, maybe some bell peppers, strawberries, oranges, they will also enhance collagen synthesis. Then we want to have lots of leafy greens, spinach, kale, watercress, Swiss chard, and ideally cooking these, and because they are loaded with chlorophyll, which may increase procollagen in the skin. Then, of course, we have wild-caught fatty fish like salmon, sardines, halibut, and they are going to provide omega-3 acids to reduce collagen breakdown and support skin structure. And the fish skin and bones also contain collagen, things that most people throw out. I know it sounds kind of weird in the sardines, but you can barely even taste them. And when I went to China, it was so interesting how much of a more holistic approach to eating like nose to tail it was, and they use the skin to the feet to the knuckles and every kind of part, and it just so important for overall health. Then I had mentioned foods rich in vitamin C, but really citrus fruits and berries, they are essential to help form collagen as well. Okay. So then we are moving on to some other tips. So gua sha or cupping. So gua sha is a tool in traditional Chinese medicine, and a lot of people have now know of it thanks to social media. But it can help with increasing lymphatic flow and breaking up stagnation. So I do recommend a dry brush. This is something I have at home. It's about maybe less than a palm size brush, and if it's good quality, it will have thicker bristles. And you want to start from your left leg, moving upwards in circular motions, upward strokes, and you moving on to the other side. And there are some really good videos online to help show you that as well. You can also apply a warm oil like sesame oil, or add in, let's say you're doing olive oil and you add ginger or cinnamon essential oil, a good quality one that can also really help, especially if you are someone who has weak knees, the weak and sore lower back. That can be really helpful. And then you can also use the gua sha in long upward strokes on the thighs or butt. You will want a bigger gua sha or bian stone for something like this, though, rather than the facial ones. Then we have cupping, and a lot of different health practitioners can offer cupping as well. And this is something that I offer as well. So you can use maybe some essential oils like ginger, cinnamon, turmeric, grapefruit, cypress, frankincense, and then use cupping for that as well. Some deep massage, lymphatic drainage massage can be fantastic as well. Okay, so that's really important. And of course, acupuncture can help with, improving your digestion, moving some of that mucus as well, really strengthening your digestive system, your kidney health as well. Then, of course, we have movement. I highly recommend at least 30 to 60 minutes of walking a day, at least 2 times a week of strength training through weightlifting, and if you want to include Pilates in that as well. But there is something to be said about heavier weights, some resistance training like that as well, but both are really important, as well as incorporating some kind of way to stretch your body, gentle yoga, hip openers, twisting poses. Then we have lifestyle, and I am super guilty of not being consistent with this, okay? But sleeping, so in Chinese medicine, sleeping before 11 p.m. can really help with liver repair, okay? And so this is really important there. And I am always mindful of sharing what I am not good at whenever I'm sharing information. And sleep is something lately that I am too working on. Then, of course, we have hydration and sleep. It does surprise me how often people are not hydrating. This is really important for fascia repair, supporting skin, just absolutely key. Then we do have some topical treatments that I cannot speak to from personal experience, but there are some products out there that contain caffeine, retinol, peptides that may improve appearance short term as well. So we have gone into the physical properties of how to improve the appearance of skin and why it might be happening. But sometimes I like to go into the emotional reasons as well. And so if we look at it from an energetic lens, it might relate to stagnant emotions, lack of movement, self-protection as well. And so this is why I'm such a big proponent of body work, of breath work, affirmations, and really that daily rituals and embodying kindness to ourselves, really embracing consistency and love over punishment. And this is something I have to remember. I will share lately I have been dealing with some hyperpigmentation with the sun coming out on my skin and really looking into the internal reasons why. And I can share an episode if that interests you. And just coming from a place of being kind to myself about it versus annoyed, stressed out, frustrated, etc. And so I am on the journey with you. This is not a flaw. This is, something that is, again, common, complex, and it's okay, right? It's okay. It's a deeper invitation to take care of ourselves in a new way. And so I will invite you to download your cheat sheet with the Cellulite support ritual tea as well. I do encourage you to book a nutrition consultation with me if you want personalized help, or even an acupuncture session as well. I hope you will share this episode with a friend who would really benefit and love this episode, someone that you love so much. I appreciate you tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please give the show a 5-star review if you feel like you learned something new today. All of the mentioned links will be in the show notes. And also, are we connected on Instagram? Find me over at _Luscious Living_ and come say hi. See you next episode.